Happy Thursday, Bill. How you doing?
I am doing great. I got to poke the screen a little bit here because they
Okay.
got my message there. So doing great, brother. Good to see you as always.
Thank
I
you.
enjoying the ocean views here in the Fort Worth. And
And
so
and welcome everybody to another episode of the Investor Guys podcast. And as always, Bill and I are chatting back and forth about what's going on in the real estate market. And now we have a different topic lined up, but one of the things that really goes with that we really need to mention is the Biden administration has extended the moratorium on evictions for tenants who aren't paying their rents. And that means that there is now currently $54 billion in unpaid rents that landlords have not collected. Now, it's not one landlord, it's not two landlords, it's all landlords across the board, but that is significant. And we're going to see our market change because of that. And we're already seeing our market change because of what's going on. And we've got people flooding into Florida. We've got people flooding into Texas. We have people flooding into Arizona, Nevada, other markets trying to escape politics in their states. And it's creating demands for housing across the board. And I'm gonna set that up for Bill as his kick there. And Bill's going to tell us what our topic is for today.
So one of the things we're going to talk about today, Kev, is the Section 8 demand, what it is right now. Now, we know it's going to go higher. I can't let you make that statement without saying, people, wake the frick up. Look at what the administration is doing. If you think they're doing this to help people, you and me, who can't pay our rent, well, first of all, that's BS because most people are still working. So that's a small percentage of people that are out of pocket. So what they're doing is they're trying to crush, and they are very successfully doing. They are crushing independent business people, the small business, the small landlord. They are crushing them because who do you think is going to benefit from that? Who's going to come pick up all these properties? These properties are not going to go unowned. It's not like, oh, they're going to be foreclosed on by a mom and pop over here. They're going to lose their property, their rental property, and it's just going to sit somewhere. No, it's going to be picked up by the hedge funds, by the banks, and by the ultra elite rich. The people that are going to ultimately get screwed are the people that always get screwed. And it's you and me and the people that are living in those, not, the Democrat Party and this administration is so unbelievably on board with big business and just stealing. That's all they're doing is stealing from you and me. If you don't vote red, then you don't even need to be watching this thing because you are just kidding yourself. And the real estate market is going to get hammered because of these idiots. They are evil people that are stealing. They have no qualms about what they're doing. So what's going to happen is a tremendous surge in one segment of the market, which is Section 8. And so what I had come across here a couple of days ago, and I got to get my specs on here, Kev, so I can give you some correct numbers here. So the Council on Low Income Housing, which is an independent agency, and they work hand in hand with HUD and Section 8, but they're an independent. They put together a survey of the demand across our country, every state, and then they broke it down into 4 categories. And the categories are 30% and less, 30% to 40%, 40% to 45%, which is a weird category, and then 46% or greater. Now, what those percentages represent is the number of families that qualify and are seeking Section 8 compared to the number of properties that are available. So if there's 100 families seeking Section 8, then this percentage tells you what the number of or percentage of properties are available for this segment of the market to go get. We've been telling you ever since we've been on the air for 100 plus episodes now, that every market in the country has a shortage of Section 8. There have been changes in the program that protect you and I as investors, but we're just going to go through some things here. I'm going to start with the markets that are doing the best. These are the markets that are the states that have done the best job of getting as much Section 8 available as they possibly can compared to their demand. I was a little surprised there's 2 states that fall in this category and only 2. They are Mississippi, surprised a little bit, and Wyoming, very surprised. Okay, so when you look at these 2, they are in, now remember, these are the states that are the best. They have a 39% shortage on their Section 8 properties. What that means is that when someone, if you have 100 families, there's only 39%. I said they have a 39% shortage. They have a 69% shortage. There's only 31% of the property. So 31 houses for 100 families to fight over. So when you look at, and they're doing the best. So when you look at some of the other states, Florida and Texas, California, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, and Delaware, oddly enough, home of Delaware, and Colorado all fall into the same category. We have a 70% shortage in those states I just mentioned. So 100 families, we got 30 properties for them to fight over. We're short 70 houses for every 100 Section 8 families. Now, you're talking about 3 of the 4 most populous states that we have, Florida, Texas, and California. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of families and homes. And actually with their site, I can pull up, and I just didn't do it for speediness today, but they can actually give you a number. Like Texas has almost 1 million homes. It's 985,000 homes short right now without there being any additional demand on Section 8. In the state of Texas, there is 985,000 additional homes needed. When you have a hot market and you have a demand like this growing in Section 8, this is going this way. The market's going up and the demand for Section 8 is going up as well. But what's happening is it's getting farther and further apart because there's more demand and people are not turning their homes into Section 8 homes because they can sell them, especially if they've got rental portfolios, they can sell them at such a crazy price today. For us, now, again, everything price per foot is different all over the country. But 2-3 years ago, if you had told me that prices in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, were routinely 185 to 2.25 a foot, for us here, not talking about any other market, for us here, that would have been insane.
Yeah. We're up on a break.
That's where we are.
Yeah. Let's talk about more of this when we get back from our break. We'll be back in just a second.
A lot of real estate training programs claim that they will make you a millionaire, but how many of them will guarantee it? The Millionaire Blueprint comes with a millionaire guarantee. I guarantee that if you use the strategies and you use the formulas that you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee that with a double your money back guarantee. Whether you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest or absolutely nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to start investing and be a millionaire guaranteed. Now, I can't tell you all about it in this short amount of time, so go to the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Watch the videos there. Read about the guarantee. Read more about what we offer with the Millionaire Blueprint. Get signed up. I'll see you in Palm Beach.
11 months out of the year, Bill and I host real estate buyers events in cities like Cleveland, Ohio, where we ourselves invest and see great returns. We show investors the types of strategies we're using, the types of properties we're using. We introduce them to people here on the ground and the resources that they can use to get started right away. Day 4 of this event, we're actually touring properties and making offers on properties. This event was designed to put properties in your portfolio right away, high-performing properties. Read more about the Real Estate Buyers event. Get registered. We'll see you at the next event, realestatebuyersevent.com. And we are back with our second segment. Today we're talking about demand for Section 8. And Bill was pointing out just before we went on break that if you have one of these properties, you don't have to set it up for Section 8 because you can sell it for market value. In fact, right now in hot markets like Florida, Texas, they are bidding over asking price, well over asking price. I've got realtors telling me that they're selling houses for $100,000, $200,000 over asking price. And I'm not talking about multi-million-dollar houses. I'm talking about $200,000 and $300,000 houses. People are bidding $400,000 and $500,000 for. It's just insane. So right now, instead of setting that house up or instead of setting that property up for Section 8, you don't need to, not only because you can sell the property, but rents where I am have literally gone up over $500 for a regular unit in just 1 year. So instead of going up like $100, if you renew your lease here, instead of renewing it for an extra $100 or $50, whatever it is, which you would typically expect to pay per month, okay, they're paying $500 to $800 more per month over their lease from last year because the demand has gone up that high. If you're getting that kind of rent, you don't have to make your units available to Section 8 because I promise Section 8 rents didn't go up $500 to $800 per month in 1 year. So those demands for Section 8 are going to continue to go up. And here's the thing, Bill and I push Section 8, Section 8, Section 8. But if you look at what's going on with Section 8, that gives us a good idea of the playing field for everything else. If the demand for Section 8 has gone up, that means that the demand for regular rent and regular properties have also gone up. That means if we can find a deal that works in any of these markets, our rents are going to be great. And here's the thing, scary even, rents don't go back down. So these people are now paying $500, $800 a month more. It's not likely that those rents are ever going to go down. That means that whoever owns these properties, they're making considerably more. We talked about the rule of the 10 times rule not that long ago, where we talked about if you raise your rents by just $100 a month, you know, how much money. Imagine if you're raising all of your rents for your units by $500 to $800, the value that you have put into your building over the course of 10 years. And it's not slowing down, unfortunately. It's not slowing down in Florida, and it's not slowing down in Texas, and it's not slowing down in other markets. It's just going to keep going crazy because of what is happening in our political situation. People are literally trying to escape states. And without getting political, I mean, we look back at the time of the Iron Curtain, you know, and we look at the Cold War, where people would they would do anything they could to escape those oppressive countries and come to America. And essentially, that's what we're looking at right now. People who are escaping oppressive states to come to states where they feel like they have more freedom and more opportunity. And it's creating, unfortunately, for people like Bill and I, who also do like investing in our states, it's creating a bit of a hardship for investors. It's not even a matter of the money that it takes anymore. Since May, and I told you this, Bill, before, since May, there's nothing that's been available. When something comes up, and I'm not talking about just good deals, I'm talking about when something comes up and it hits the MLS, usually the agent has already sold it before they even put it up on the MLS. There's just nothing available. And it's not going to change. So we need to adjust our view of real estate in order to accommodate for that. And we talked about that on our last show, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Bill because I know he had more to talk about on the demands of Section 8.
I'm going to make an observation here. I bet if we went back
Is it my hair? I'm just kidding.
If we went back to people who own rental property, who are not involved in Section 8, that have property that maybe rents for a little bit more than what a Section 8 property would rent for, not astronomically more, but a little bit more. If we went back to them and said, if you could swap the last 18 months and be in Section 8 instead of what you're in, I think it would be 100%, because how much rent have they got? Zero. And look, they're not likely to get any of it. I'm biting my tongue here. What the administration is pushing is that money's just going to disappear. And when that money disappears, there's going to be a ton of these people. It's not going to disappear from the bank or the mortgage company. It's just the rent's going to disappear. And the people that own those properties are going to still have to go in and make their mortgage payments, or they're going to lose those properties. And so I'd be willing to bet that it'd almost be 100% of people that said, wow, you mean I could have still have been getting paid, even though there's a moratorium going on foreclosure, and I still could have been getting paid because my tenant is the federal government. See, that's the thing, that if you miss it on Section 8, that's why you'll stay balled up with, I don't want to get involved with that, I don't want to do this, blah, 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 blah. You're missing who your tenant is. Your tenant is the big boy on the block, and that block is the world. So when you have the single most powerful, the single richest entity in the world, the US government, as your tenant, and the US government saying, I'm just going to direct deposit into your account every day, every month. It's going to be, typically you have it no later than the 5th. We're just going to put it right into your account. Boom. What have you got to fuss about? And so that's what makes this so attractive. And then we find supporting information for the things that we've been telling you about how short we are across the board. Across the board. There's not a single state out there. Again, when you've got Mississippi and Wyoming who have the least amount of shortage, and they still have a 31% shortage. Now, if we were looking at this differently, if we looked at this and said, hey, I'm going into a market, and in this particular market, they are 31% short. If we didn't know what that was, we'd be going, man, that's got to be a great market. There's so much more demand than there is supply, because they're short 31%, meaning they've got 31 families out of every 100 families that can't find a property because it's just, they don't have enough houses. So then you take a look and go, oh, wait a minute. No, those are the two states that have it the best. The rest of the country, it's worse and worse and worse and worse, all the way down to California, Florida, and Texas, having a shortage of 70%. So this is an incredible market opportunity for us to look at. You got anything else you want to throw on?
No, because we are up on a break, but we'll continue
Okay.
with this as soon as we get back. See you in just a minute.
Right.
Hi, my name's Kevin Mills. I have a real estate training program that is so powerful, I will back it up with a double your money back guarantee that it will make you a millionaire. That's right. Double your money back guarantee that you will be a millionaire if you use what you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint. I call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint, and you can read more about it and watch more videos at guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Check it out. All the information is there. Once a month, with the exception of December, Bill and I go to markets where we have experience and we host a real estate buyers event. These are markets that have great return potential for your real estate portfolio. We're going to show you the properties that we buy. We're going to show you where to buy, where not to buy, the strategies to use to make great income from these properties.
We're also going to show you resources and individuals here on the ground that you can use to start building your team so that you can repeat this process over and over. The real estate buyers events are designed to put high performing properties in your portfolio right away. If you're interested in hearing more about the real estate buyers event, realestatebuyersevent.com. That's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about the events, check out the schedule, and register. We'll see you there.
And we're back, and today we're talking about demand, and it's an across the board demand that creates this shortage of Section 8. We've got markets that we talk about all the time. In fact, Bill and I love investing in Section 8 in the Rust Belt, and really that's what we need to be looking at right now. Our demand is up in Florida for Section 8. Our demand is up in Texas for Section 8. Demand is up in California and other states. But instead of battling tooth and nail to find properties, which is what Bill and I are going to have to do in our markets in order to find properties for Section 8. Let's look at where they have Section 8 demands and we can still get properties. Real quick, what was the percentage for New York? New York was one of the states that you mentioned, but what was the demand?
Yeah, New York is in a little bit better shape than us. New York is.
It's because everybody's leaving New York.
They have a 40% shortage.
Okay, 40% shortage. That means we could be purchasing properties in Syracuse, Buffalo, and Rochester. What is the demand in Ohio?
I think Ohio is exactly the same. No, Ohio's at 45, so they're a little bit
higher.
Demand there.
That means we can be purchasing properties in Cleveland, Toledo, Columbus, Akron, Cincinnati. Those are all great markets for Section 8. How's Indiana and Michigan looking?
Let's see. Indiana, Illinois, both are just like Ohio. They're at 45%, and Michigan, same thing. So all the Great Lakes states are right there at 45% shortage. I want to throw out something on our states, on California, Texas, and Florida. You can still do Section 8 here. What you can't do, likely, is you can't pop into Dallas-Fort Worth here and go find numbers that work. Does that mean that you can't go to East Texas? You can't go to Longview and Tyler? You can't go to West Texas, get out in Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, get out in areas out there that have a little bit of population, but are not so incredibly big, and they're not around a whole lot of things, and get down in what we call the hill country, get down towards South Texas, get down in Killeen, places like that, down in South Texas and over toward El Paso, not necessarily in El Paso, but if you get about 100 miles or so, what you're going to find is that in these states with high demand, California, you could still do Section 8, but you can't touch it in and around San Francisco or LA or San Diego. You can forget that. But California geographically is a gigantic state. And so you get up in the Yucca Valley,
County, Central Valley.
Yeah, there's a lot of places you can go and do Section 8 that will have a tremendous demand and will pay extremely well. And look, you can go to the county website for every single county in the country and find out what their Section 8, their HUD, their affordable housing allowance is for zip codes, and they compare it to fair market value because they want you doing this. So they know as an investor, we have to get fair market value or we're not going to do this. So they compare, here's what HUD says. And then in a lot of the Rust Belt cities, you'll find they pay a little premium above what HUD is. So the city will actually tack a little extra cash on there and say, okay, you might be able to get $600 from HUD, but when it comes through us, you'll get $700. Well, of course, we're going to go $700. Well, that is a terrific incentive for you and I to be out there in the marketplace. And we're talking about, let's talk about condition a little bit. I come from a rehab background, still love rehab, still doing rehabs. We've got 4 going on right now. And I love it. It's a different environment when you're doing Section 8. The crucial point when you're buying a property in Section 8 is that everything has to work. Everything has to be in good working order. It doesn't have to be Architectural Digest. It doesn't have to look like, oh, they gutted this thing. No, that's not what it is. It needs to be clean and working. Now, working first, period.
Yep.
And then you're not going to pass inspection if it's not clean. But clean doesn't mean that, you don't have incredible, you don't have Italian marble in the kitchen, or in the bathroom. It means that you've got a good structure that's clean and everything functions properly, and you're going to clear your Section 8 inspection, your HUD inspection, and then you're off to the races. Once you get that.
Section 8 inspection is really what common sense would dictate, to be honest.
Yep.
It's no cracked or peeling paint because they don't want children, eating the paint. It's everything needs to work. Every doorknob for every door needs to work and latch. Every inside door to the outside, whether it's the front door, back door, side door, whatever, has to have a lock on it. All your windows have to have at least a screen on them, if not a storm window. And anything that you call a bedroom has to have a closet in it, and it has to have a window that's big enough for a person to climb in or out of if there was a fire or an emergency. It's common sense items that are going to make this happen. And then really quick, as we wrap up this segment, the other thing that is unique about the markets that we talked about in the Rust Belt, but also some of those cities that Bill talked about in Texas, is you're talking about properties that you're going to be able to pick up for $50,000, $60,000 to $100,000, that you can convert into, not convert, but you can make available for Section 8. These are great investment properties because they don't mean a whole lot of money out of your pocket. Okay. Yep. They don't require a whole lot of work in order to make them presentable, because again, you're not making these things a Taj Mahal because you're not going to resell them on the market right now. You're making them available for Section 8. It doesn't mean they have to be a ghetto slum. Okay. I actually like to make mine just a little better than everybody else's because that means that the demand is a little bit higher. It can be great. It can be nice. You can be a great landlord without having to put a lot of money into it. And the demand is there. You're going to have tenants. Imagine what it's like to literally have a waiting list of tenants who want to be in your property because they know that you take good care of your properties and you're going to take good care of them. And they're more likely to take care of because you're going to be able to pick and choose who you want to put into that property because you've got that kind of a demand. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up this segment?
Yeah, I would just like to remind everybody, think about the service that you're providing. Here are families that need help. Now, look, I don't really care what your opinion is of welfare or government handouts. Don't really care because there are a lot of families that absolutely without that would be in incredibly dire straits. Yeah, there's some people that piggyback on the system. There are people that piggyback on the system at every level, but there's a tremendous number of good, honest, hardworking folks that need that to be able to provide safe, affordable housing for their families. This is the service that you and I provide when we get involved in Section 8. And yes, the money's great. And Kevin and I talk a ton about the money, but I want you to understand there's a service side to this that you don't need to miss out on. You don't need to not understand that you're helping another family out and you're getting paid very nicely by the government to do that. But stay focused on the fact that once I make that wise purchase decision, everything else is about service to the community and service to those families.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for joining us. And Bill, as always, thank you for your insight and being my friend and being my co-host here,
brother.
And we will see the rest of you again on Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being loyal viewers and
subscribe.
Don't forget to share us. Yeah, share us with your fellow friends, your fellow investors, your fellow network. And we look forward to seeing you back here again on Tuesday. Have a happy weekend and happy investing.